This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather Ho, there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond. Welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe on this day. And on this day, October 24th, 2004, 20 years ago, a big match at Old Trafford, home to Manchester United, happened in the Premier League, where Man U beat Arsenal 2-0. You may be thinking, this is a boring old match. What significance does this have? Well, it has significance due to one team in particular. Yes, this is one of the most unbelievable moments around. As in Europe, it was one of the most shocking moments around. To see Arsenal played quite well and all of that. So Arsenal had done some things. Arsenal in May 2002 actually beat Man U to regain the Premier League and didn't even lose on the road, which was shocking. All that. Arsenal looked pretty impressive, but they lost to Everton in a key match. So anyway, Arsenal decided to make some major changes by the 2003-2004 season and won the Premier League. They won 26 games, tied 12, and more importantly, had no defeats. So they were close and all that. So the 38-game winning streak, undefeated streak within the Premier League in 2004 was huge for Arsenal. They actually, by Game 6, almost lost. Man U faced them in a match, but Ruud van Nistelrooy somehow missed a penalty in injury time, which would have given Man U the win. They did quite well in all of that in the Premier League. Despite them doing well in the Premier League and not conceding a loss and being only the second team in English club history, next to Preston North End in 1889, to not lose a league match in a season. Domestic cups ruined them. They lost the Football League Cup, which is held only to those in the first four divisions of the FA, or the Football Association, losing to Middlesbrough, who won the trophy, and they lost the semis of the FA Cup to Manchester United. Of course, that doesn't count, because those are different competitions. Arsenal got to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, the European club competition, but lost to Chelsea. Regardless of that, they still had a fantastic job and all that. After beating Blackburn Rovers early in the 2004-2005 season, that made them get to 43 league matches unbeaten, which broke the record set by Nottingham Forest from 1978 to 1979. Yes, they didn't have any undefeated seasons, but within 2 seasons, they had 42 league games unbeaten. The streak went up to 49 until this game against Manchester United. So anyway, it was just amazing what they could do and all of that. They had been undefeated in 49 straight games. So anyway, this was humongous and all that. So anyway, Arsene Wenger, when he went to Arsenal, people were upset at Arsenal, saying that why do we need a French manager? But in his first full season, Arsenal did win the Premier League and FA Cup to have a domestic double, which was amazing and all that. It was huge and all that. So Arsenal were league leaders, obviously. They hadn't lost a game. 2 points ahead of Chelsea. They beat Aston Villa 3-1 to make it 49 straight games without a loss in league play. Man U would tie Birmingham 0-0 and sat in 6th place. And all that. They were very inconsistent. And all that. So anyway, in the lead up Sir Alex Ferguson, who was Man U's manager, criticized Arsenal's previous conduct at Old Trafford and said that their behavior was more like a mob. Mike Riley was made referee for the match and sent off 5 players in his last 6 games. They said there would be some kind of brawl and all that. So anyway, Man U went with a 4-4-1-1 formation, means 4 defenders, 4 in the midfield, 1 kind of in the central striking thing, and 1 massive striker. And all that. Van Nistelrooy would be the massive forward. Rooney would be behind him. Unfortunately, Roy Keane was doubtful and could not play. Quinton Fortune and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer were ruled out with knee injuries. Arsenal went 4-4-2, 4 in the back, 4 in the middle, 2 up front, with Thierry Henry and Jose Antonio Reyes, your center forwards. Vieira was expected to come back from injury, with Gilberto Silva, Jeremy Alvaderi, Gio Clichy, and Manny Almunia ruled out by injury. But when the team sheets were released, Bergkamp was the striking guy to Henry. Reyes was put on the left wing, which meant Robert Pires had to be on the bench. For Man U, there was no place for Keane in the squad. So Phil Neville would come in to play central midfield with Paul Scholes. So it was a scrappy affair, to say the least. Rooney had a chance, but was blocked by Kolo Touré. Rooney then gave a ball to Giggs, but Sol Campbell saw that shot and took away from it. Rio Ferdinand tackled Freddie Ljungberg in the 19th minute, and it was not shown a card. It was just unbelievable and all that. Arsenal cried foul because they thought Rio's tackle was a professional foul and should have gotten at least a yellow. Anyway, Roy Carroll was in net for England. I forgot all about him, but anyway, he made a couple of big saves there. But the worst part for the Red Devils, that being Manchester United, was that during the first half, Gary and Phil Neville, both brothers, of course, were given yellow cards for fouling Reyes. Actually, Cole got a yellow tackle for a tackle on Rooney. TV replays actually showed that Van Nistelrooy had ran his studs down Cole's shins, but no punishment. No score in the second half, no big deal, so they struggled it. And all of that. Henry had a chance early, but missed it. Bergkamp had a good shot, but he shot wide. Gabriel Heinze took a shot that Jens Lehmann for Arsenal in the Arsenal net saw quickly. Pires came on for Reyes. But in the 73rd minute, there would be a massive controversy. Touré's clearance for Arsenal presented United the chance to break in numbers, and Rooney reached the penalty only to go down under Campbell's challenge. They were awarded a penalty. And all that, despite Campbell trying to withdraw from the tackle, and Rooney basically headed for the turf. Kind of a dive, if you will. Ruud van Nistelrooy could take the penalty. And in soccer, you could take the penalty as long as you're on the field at the time. And Ruud takes the shot and sent Lehmann the wrong way to score 1-0. Unfortunately, Arsenal was a little hasty. And Cristiano Ronaldo was hit by Ashley Cole, but that was not a yellow card offense. In stoppage time, substitutes Louis Saha and Alan Smith passed the ball to Wayne Rooney, who had a big tap and pass against Lehmann. Game over. Man U wins 2-0. So that was a big move. Yeah, well, Man U had Tim Howard also in net. Well, on the substitutes bench, and Wes Brown, who didn't play. Arsenal had Cesc Fabregas and Robert Van Persie, but surprisingly, they didn't play them. So 2 yellow cards to Man U. That'd be Neville, the Neville brothers. Cole, Vieira, and Adu with yellow cards each. So Arsenal couldn't believe it. it also helped that, well, shots on target were 5-1 for Manchester United. If Arsenal could just put more balls on Carroll, they probably would have done something. So after this, Arsenal ended up losing the match. The good news in a sense was that Chelsea couldn't do anything either, as they obviously had no points. Well, they played 10 against each. Man U would jump to 5th in the Premier League standings after October 24th. The post-match was when things were really gone astray. Sol Campbell was seen refusing to shake Rooney's hand at the final whistle, and there were no customary shirt swaps because Arsenal didn't want to swap with Manchester United because they were enemies. And also buoyed by the fact that there were rumors that Arsenal players wore t-shirts under the shirts saying 50 not out, which was a cricket term, but, because of the 50-game unbeaten streak. Tempers would boil over in the players' tunnel in front of police officers. Arsenal players were held back. And Thierry Henry was incensed that Rio Ferdinand was named man of the match. I wouldn't have given it to him. Anyway, there were accusations that certain food actually were thrown at Arsenal at Fergie by an unknown Arsenal player. Ferguson would change into the club tracksuit to carry out his TV duties. Rumors were circulating that Cesc Fabregas was the guy who threw the pizza and all that. So it was not known who threw that pizza at the Man U manager. But Fabregas did admit in 2017 that it was him and all that. It was actually shocking that Mike Riley, the official, did not mention the tunnel fracas in his match report, which was sent to the FA. But the governing body did want to shed light on the matter as well. All that. And the investigation was difficult because players on both sides remained quiet over Pizzagate, and no camera footage was made available, so what could you do? Anyway, it was just unbelievable, all that. Arsene Wenger was upset with the referees, saying all that Riley had an impartiality. The referees left 8 matches at Old Trafford. He awarded 8 penalties to Man U. And all that. So it was like unbelievable what could happen and all that. Anyway, regardless of that, 2 days after the match, Van Nistelrooy was charged with serious foul play after his challenge on Cole went unnoticed by the referee. He pled guilty and took a 3-match ban for his conduct. Wagner would be fined £15,000 for his comments about Van Nistelrooy. And there were rumors that Thierry Henry was going to get in trouble for his serious foul play on Gerber Heinze and possibly a 3-match ban. But because the manager's complaint was not submitted on time, Henry avoided that part. Arsenal actually struggled to regain the consistency. In the space of the month, they had fallen 5 points behind Chelsea, who went on to win the Premier League. Man U would lose to Portsmouth and would actually finish 3rd place. So at least they were better than Arsenal in a sense. They would actually meet in the quarterfinals of the League Cup. And David Bellion scored a goal to make it 1-0. So, anyway. It was just humongous. Well, Man U would go to Arsenal, because they had to play each other twice, one on each other's turf. Man U would win 4-2 at Highbury, and it would be an amazing game and all of that. They would actually meet in the FA Cup final, and it had to go to a penalty shootout, which was the first in FA Cup history. Arsenal got revenge as Vieira kicked the winning penalty. Reyes actually got booted from the FA Cup final, making him only the second guy after Kevin Moran of Man U in '85 to be ejected from the FA Cup. And of course, Man U and Arsenal still brawl to this day. This is a matter of fact. Anyway, I'm Jeff David.